How has the coronavirus pandemic led to an increase in female genital mutilation occurring in Somalia? To develop an understanding of how the coronavirus pandemic has led to a significant increase in female genital mutilation in Somalia, it is first important to introduce the Sustainable Development Goals. The Sustainable Development Goals were created in 2012 at the United Nations Conference to meet the urgent environmental, political, and economic challenges that were being faced globally. SDGs were designed to replace the Millennium Development Goals formed in 2000. However, the SDGs had a larger and more detailed set of goals in which included achieving gender equality and empowerment of all women and girls. Of this broad target of achieving gender equality, there were 9 individual targets created to contribute to this goal. Within these, Target 5.3 had a goal of eliminating all harmful practices, such as child, early, and forced marriage, and female genital mutilation by 2030. Somalia is located in Eastern Africa and is regarded as one of the most dangerous and violent countries on earth. Before the start of the civil war in 1991, Somalia was a popular tourist destination. However, after the central government imploded in 1991, Somalia has been ripped apart by violence. To this effect, this country is extremely dangerous for women, after being ranked the 3rd most dangerous country in the world for women in regards to putting them at risk of harmful traditional and cultural practices. Following the aftermath of the civil war and conflict, Somalia is now one of the most impoverished countries in the world, with the lack of government being a leading cause of their poverty. In comparison to other countries in Africa practicing FGM, Somalia has the highest rate. However, statistics show that countries practicing FGM almost as significantly as Somalia are Guinea, Djibouti, and Egypt, with the percentages of women and girls undergoing the procedure ranging from 91 to 96%. Additionally, education is rarely accessible as more than 3 million children do not go to school. This is even more significant for girls in Somalia that have undergone FGM or early marriage, as these can act as a key barrier to receiving education. It is also important to consider the vulnerability of girls travelling to and from school, as they are likely to experience verbal and physical abuse, which can also act as a barrier to girls receiving an equal education. FGM contains a number of traditional rituals that involve surgical removal of all or parts of external female genitalia, resulting in irreparable damage and increased risk of health complications. Research affirms that over 200 million girls and women have been subject to female genital mutilation. And while the harmful practice was thought to be becoming less common before the pandemic, the progress was not significant enough to reach the global target of completely eliminating it by 2030. FGM is considered internationally as an extreme form of gender discrimination and is condemned by many international treaties. This procedure usually takes place on girls aged between 4 and 12. Also, as this procedure is carried out on young girls without consent, it is considered a violation of the rights of children. Additionally, female genital mutilation aims to ensure premarital virginity, as it is believed in many communities to reduce libido. The World Health Organization recognizes female genital mutilation as a violation of human rights. However, the issue persists as a deep-rooted traditional practice that takes place commonly in 29 countries, with a high percentage of these being African and Middle Eastern countries. The procedure is also carried out by traditional birth attendants and local individuals. It is common for the individual to not have any medical training or anatomical knowledge, and perform the FGM without any sterilisation or anaesthesia. However, in recent times there has been an increase in medical professionals also carrying out this procedure. To develop an understanding of why this harmful practice takes place, it is important to discuss the reasons why. These include religion, culture, and preserving female chastity, as in many societies, FGM can be perceived as part of women and girls' cultural gender identity. FGM is also considered to prepare a girl for adulthood and marriage. It is imperative to consider the health implications that this procedure has on girls and women. Firstly, there is no medical justification or benefits of this practice, and it can result in serious immediate and long-term physical and psychological harm. These include chronic pain, recurring infections, pain during sexual intercourse, depression, and post-traumatic stress. Additionally, girls and women can experience severe bleeding, painful urination, as well as high complications in childbirth, resulting in a high rate of newborn deaths. There have been global efforts to end the practice of FGM that support legislation to target medical professionals and families that perpetuate this procedure. However, political issues remain a significant problem in the ending of this, as well as the implementation of it. There has been a growing international campaign to abolish the practice that has been endorsed by the World Health Organization and the World Medical Organization. However, before the rise in cases as a result of the pandemic, progress had been made in eliminating the practice as a result of growing political support and revised legal frameworks, resulting in 24 out of the 29 countries passing laws against the continuation of FGM. There has been an overall decline in the prevalence of FGM in the last 3 decades. Before the effects of the pandemic, however, not all countries had made progress. FGM is practiced mainly in Africa, with the highest prevalence in Somalia, with 98% of women and girls undergoing this procedure aged 5 to 9. There is currently no national legislation in Somalia that expressly criminalises and punishes the practice of FGM. Although there has been a significant increase in medical FGM taking place in Somalia as a result of high-income families believing that this will reduce the harm of FGM. The UNFPA estimates that 290,000 girls will undergo the harmful practice in 2020. However, it is vital to consider the implications of the coronavirus pandemic on the development of these goals, as research highlights the increase in violence against women and girls in lockdown globally. It is evident that the current pandemic is having catastrophic implications for women, as it exacerbates existing gender inequalities and results in an increase in violence. Early reports from the anti-FGM charity, Orchid, state that as early as March 2020, right at the beginning of the pandemic, there had already been a worrying elevation of rates of FGM. When lockdowns occurred in Somalia, this was thought as an opportunity for FGMs to go undetected, leading to a huge increase in FGMs taking place. Even more concerningly, lockdown encouraged circumcisers to go door to door, offering to carry out the procedure on girls stuck at home. It has also been considered that many families are taking advantage of the school closures to carry out FGM, as girls will have time to recover at home. It has been suggested that restrictions on movement has resulted in limited opportunities to raise awareness of the dangers of FGM. Recent projections suggest that due to the disruption of programs working to end FGM as a result of the pandemic, this may ultimately result in 2 million cases of FGM occurring over the next decade that could have otherwise been averted. As a result of this, the SDG Goal 5.3 of eliminating FGM may be at risk of being unachieved by 2030. However, it is imperative to remain hopeful, as activists in Somalia have been campaigning for an end to the dangerous practice and raising awareness on the issue. Also, the criminalisation of FGM in the neighbouring country, Sudan, provides optimism for the charities fighting against FGM in Somalia. Although the Constitution of Somalia prohibits FGM, there is no specific law that indicates a punishment for breaching this, and because of this, ending FGM in Somalia will be complex, but it is key for national legislation to be implemented to show the commitment to eradicating FGM. It is clear that FGM reflects deep-rooted inequality that must be addressed through continuation of activists and charities seeking to help the millions of girls subjected to this deeply harmful practice. Additionally, it is important to remain hopeful that following the pandemic, there will be a sharp decline in girls undergoing the procedure as lockdowns end and girls can possibly return to school. Also, with less than a decade to go to achieve SDG 5.3, it is of significant importance that after the detrimental effect of the pandemic, that there is continual monitoring of not only Somalia, but also other African and Middle Eastern countries with high FGM rates to ensure they are held accountable to make sure that FGM does end in 2030. SDG 5 states a goal of gaining gender equality. As a result of achieving this goal, the ending of FGM can have substantial positive effects. This will increase gender equality, create more peaceful societies and healthier individuals, with a hope to also delay early marriage.